Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the N64 podcast. I, of course, am your host, Andy, and today is a special edition because it is the 10th episode. That's right, 10 episodes. So I'm just going to do a cold opening, and we're going to jump right in and start talking about Star Fox 64 because it's such a great game. We're going to have to cover it in a little more detail than some of the other ones. And so it's a bigger game, and it's a good game. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it because it's an unlock. It's a personal milestone for me. And when I first played this game, I had rented it from the local video game rental place that my family frequented. And they're still in business, and the owner's a very nice man. And so anyways, that's just my first memories with the game. So Star Fox 64 is essentially a remake of the SNES game. And that game came out in the late 90s, or the early 90s. What am I thinking? So it is the first game that launched and introduced to us the Rumble Pack. And I just have to note here, why does the Rumble Pack need batteries? I mean, is it not enough that the thing is actually strapped to the controller? I know somebody could say, well, there's not enough power coming through the controller. And that could be. Maybe there's not enough power. There's enough to drive a memory card chip, but not enough to drive a motor to rumble. And maybe the Rumble Pack was an afterthought. Just a theory of mine. That's what I would guess. Star Fox itself, of course, came out in Japan, April 27, 1997. North America, June 30th, 1997. PAL regions got it on October 4th, 1997. And China, believe it or not, got it in November of 2003, and that was on the IQ player. If you've never seen the IQ player, Shane over at Re-Res on YouTube did a really good review of the IQ player, so I would highly recommend you check out his channel. Re-Res is a great channel anyway. Shane's a nice guy. I was in on the live stream he was doing over the weekend, and that was kind of cool to be part of. I wasn't in there. I mean, I was in the chat, but we're all talking back and forth, and so yeah, the IQ is pretty neat. It's basically like an N64 handheld, and yeah, it's kind of hard to describe. You'll just have to check it out if you don't know what it is. So in Europe, the game is named Lylat Wars, and that's thanks to a German company whose name is Star Fox. But I guess in Germany, the V has an F sound, or in German. So it would come out as Star Fox, basically, in Germany, and they didn't want to have a big lawsuit. And this is per Dylan Cuthbert, one of the developers of this game. Now, the SNES version of the game was called Star Wing. It was not called Star Fox or Lylat Wars either. Just this one is. Now, the Rumble Pack is essential to the game. To me, Rumble Packs are up there with, kind of like 3D glasses in movie theaters. It's a nice gimmick, but I don't really like it. I like the 2D. Now, on this game, though, it is essential to get the full experience to use the Rumble Pack. And that is one of my earliest memories was the train level. I can't remember what it was called, but if you can get the train to drive into the power plant, then there is this gigantic explosion. I remember playing it for the first time, and it literally just shaking like crazy as all these explosions are going off on the screen. Now, the Star Fox 2, of course, was originally going to be on the Super Nintendo. We all know that now. And you can get it on the SNES Classic Edition, or if you look, people have taken the SNES Classic Edition ROM and have put it in the wild. They've ripped it right off of the system. So that's one way you could play the original Star Fox 2, but they considered, since this N64 was coming out, that it was going to be a better system, so they wanted to wait and put Star Fox basically 2 on that system. But as we all know, this ended up being more or less a remake of the original Star Fox. That's fine. The game looks gorgeous. It plays great, as we all know. So in the game, you play as Fox McCloud, a hotshot pilot, and he's got daddy issues. I'm sorry, he does. He really does have daddy issues. And you get into that later in the game, which we'll discuss it here in a little bit. You take your orders from General Pepper. He looks like a nice big old dog, like a Clifford kind of dog, and he gives you orders to protect the Lylat System from the Evil Andross. He's the main bad guy. Now you have teammates. You have Falco Lombardi, who's a bird with an attitude. You have Slippy, the annoying toad, and Peppy Hare. He's the wise Yoda-like pilot in the game who tells you to do a barrel roll. And side note here, if you type that into the Google search box, you're in for a good laugh. So go to google.com, type in do a barrel roll, and you should get a pretty good laugh out of it. Now, the game plays out almost like an on-rails kind of flight sim in most levels. It's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure. if you complete certain objectives and or do certain things in missions, you get to go down a different path with different levels and different difficulty levels. And we'll get into the levels here in a minute. The game uses some recycled content from the then unreleased Star Fox 2, such as the all-range mode, which is where you're flying around in a full 360 environment, like you can't leave the battlefield, but you have full 360 freedom. And then the Star Wolf team being basically the anti-Fox team. And so, so those two things were taken from Star Fox 2 for the Super Nintendo. And the Star Wolf team the leader is Wolf O'Donnell. He's the leader of the group. You have Pigma Dingar, and Pigma was betrayed by Star Fox a long time ago, and he joined Wolf's team. And that actually plays out in the story. Basically, he was the guy that led James McCloud, that'd be Fox's dad, into the hands of Andross, as the story goes. Then you have Leon Pawlowski, a diabolical chameleon, and for some reason, he does not like Falco. I don't know if it's Falco's bad attitude or what it is, but he's definitely not a fan of Falco. Then you have Andrew Oikani. Now, he's the nephew of Andross, and I guess he joined Star Wolf for his uncle's aid. Now, the Star Fox or the Star Wolf team basically does illegal things like smuggling and stuff. They're not like they're kind of like mercenaries for hire. That's kind of the way it was worded to me, basically. Now, when I originally played the game, I didn't read any manuals and stuff. I just thought it was the anti-Star Fox team that was working for Andross. I didn't really know, what that was. I didn't know they were kind of like for hire mercenaries or smugglers or just illegal people. And so if you notice, before you get a mission in each game, when General Pepper is talking to Fox, they kind of move in such a weird way, kind of like marionette puppets. And I read somewhere that Miyamoto wanted to capture that Thunderbirds, that old marionette puppet show. He wanted to capture that kind of look and feel for when they were talking. So that's why that looks kind of weird. It is kind of jarring, but it is kind of neat now that you know the inside secrets on why it looks that way, and it doesn't just look that way to look that way. The game is rated KA. Now, that's the old ESRB before we had E for everyone, so it was called KA, Kids to Adults. So yeah, it's basically E for everyone in today. And then they also remade it on the 3DS, and so that would be a remake of a remake. The 3DS version is nice. It's basically, you get the same game, but with way better graphics, the same great gameplay. I used to own it. It was a good game. Loved it. Now, I'm going to talk about the box of the game. This is from the Lylat Wars variant, as I could not find the Star Fox box, the American one, online. I only had a few minutes to look today while I was at work over my lunch break. It was one of the few pieces of the puzzle I was missing. So Lylat Wars. It's got 4 pictures on the back, and it says, the Lylat System has been invaded. Join Fox McCloud and his Star Fox team as they fight to save the galaxy from the clutches of the evil Andross. Travel to many different 3D worlds, battle the enemy in the air and on the ground, and listen in as Fox McCloud interacts with a cast of characters. See how it feels to feel what you see. The N64 Rumble Pack controller accessory instantly transmits all the bumps and blasts during the action. It's a new jolt to your gameplay experience, sold separately. At least on this one it was. I believe here in America, or actually I think there was a variant in Europe you could get it with the Rumble Pack as well. So 4 players compete simultaneously in versus mode. Game pack memory saves, the top 10 scores. Outstanding cinema scenes tell the Star Fox saga. So it's got one picture at the top, and it's a space level. And there's another picture overlapping of a 4-player split screen. Then there's one below that on the bottom left. It's from the first level when you're flying under the arches. And then to the bottom right on that is the tank level where you're chasing after the train. And so, yeah, it's a really good game. I really like it. We're going to talk about the levels here in a minute. Now, normally I would take a break here, and I'm going to. And normally I'd play some music from the game here, but instead I'm going to play an audio submission from Luis. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, sir. He's one of the people I wanted to be a co-host on this show, but as I stated online, I don't have good scheduling at all. So he himself is very busy as well. So let's go ahead and hear what he has to say about Star Fox 64.
Sup Andy, this is SDP from Miscript.com, and since you're talking about one of my favorite games, I thought I'd call in and share some of my memories. I didn't actually start off as a Star Fox fan. I was just not interested in the Super Nintendo game. But when Walmart had one of those kiosks for the game, I decided to check it out, and I ended up falling in love with it. The rumble was a game changer. And the voice acting, this was really rare in Nintendo 64 games. It might have been common for PlayStation games, but it was new to me, so it impressed me. I love the story, I love the action, and I used to play it until my neck would hurt because the TVs were very high, at least when I was a little kid. So I beat the game, and these demo kiosks, they had the games before they came out, so I had finished the game. But I still bought it because I knew there were more planets to discover, and I just loved it. I needed to have it. I love that it had a big box because it had the Rumble Pack in it. The batteries were included, so that's a nice bonus. But with that said, I think I hear Star Wolf attacking Dinosaur Planet, so I better get to that. Talk to you later.
Awesome. Thanks for that great submission. And yes, you better be protecting Dinosaur Planet. Now, you also wrote in your email here that obviously the European version is called Lylat Wars because of a copyright. And instead of the N64 logo being able to be moved around the title screen, it's actually the Star Fox cartoon logo that you can move. And one of the options, which I was going to mention this later, but I might as well now, you mentioned it here, is that if you go to the options, you can change the language from English or whatever your native language is in the game to Lylat, which is the gibberish from the Star Fox characters in the SNES game. So I very much appreciate the submission there, SDP. Sorry if I said your name earlier. I had listened to the submission a couple times before that, but hadn't in a couple of days. It's been a long day at work too. But yes, the like I said, the rumble in this game is necessary for the full experience. It's normally something I don't normally go out for, but with this game, it's a must. It's a must have for it. If you want to get the complete experience, I highly recommend it. So now I'm going to talk about the levels. Now, one thing I'd like to note was that when this game came out and you rented it or bought it, and keep in mind, this was 97, so the internet was still kind of in its infancy. We had Windows 95 version B or version C by then. Windows 98 was a year away, or maybe it was out. I'm not sure when that came out. Anyways, so it was. There was an incredible sense of exploration to unlock, just as STP said there in that audio submission. There was. You knew that there were other levels that you could play in the game, and how do I get to these other levels? For instance, in the first level, if you save Falco and then you fly through all the arches, he brings you through the waterfall on a different path in the game that can optionally take you on the harder path. And I'm going to be reading some of these from the wiki page. I didn't want to write all of this down because there's just so many different numerous variations here. And so I'm going to go ahead and start here basically with the first level, and that's Corneria, former army base, and that's where Star Fox and everyone comes in. And so they've broken it down here basically that you can, it gives you a play-by-play almost, and even down to the enemies and stuff. And so the boss on the first level is Grenga. That's the easy path. If the mission complete route, the priority is to defeat Grenga. Upon clearing this objective, the player is only led to Meteo, which is the asteroids level. And that starts the easy path. It is not possible to reach Sector Y if Falco was not saved from the telling enemies earlier, which you see earlier in the game. Get them off me, Fox, I believe he says. And his absence will cause the attack carrier to go unnoticed and will cancel the choice of routes on the Lylat map, forcing the path to head for Genga and Meteo. Now, mission complete. Go through the stage without saving Falco. Save Falco without going through all the water arches. And Falco says, let's go, ending in a fight with Grenga. Now, a boss attack, the attack carrier, the hard path. The alternate mission accomplished route is accessed by flying under several arches found on the level after saving Falco from the 3 trailing Grenga fighters. He will show the hidden path to the player, and that's basically where you get to fight the attack carrier, and then you can go to Sector Y. So the second level, that first one is very nice. It's a nice intro into the game. You start off at some water, then you hit the shore, and you've got the buildings and stuff falling over. It's basically a repeat of the original game's first level, just obviously fleshed out more because the N64 is multiple more times powerful than the SNES. And so it's just, it's a very fun level. It's a good introductory level. It's kind of neat how you can shoot some of the doors on that first level. And you can fly through there, and you get like those the wings to make your combat ship a little beefier at firefighting. And don't forget the Nova bombs and stuff that you carry with you. And so level 2, the asteroid field. It's pretty much an asteroid field. Pepio will be tailed by a Venom space fighter after the first flip bots and Rob 64 supply container are passed. Slippy will be tailed by flip bots before reaching the warp rings. Your basic enemies in this are asteroids and stuff like this. I don't remember this level too much. There's not really a boss in it. You go through all the blue warp rings and warp to Katina. It's a pretty cool asteroid level, but I always went for the Sector Y once I figured that out. And that is corridor mode / all range mode for Sector Y. So the first two are basically what they call corridor mode, which is what I was saying, the on rails part. You're kind of on rails. Although they did say that part of the first level was in all range. I don't remember that. Maybe it's been a while. I guess I should have played the game more before I started this. I just haven't had time. It's been a crazy week. So anyways, corridor. Sector Y can only be approached from Corneria after defeating the attack carrier. It is impossible to reach the sector without Falco being active, because he was the one to find the attack carrier. The objective is to try and rack up 100 hit points so that the route will travel to Aqueous, the ocean. If not, the path will go to Katina. So the battle is occurring in Sector Y. General Pepper asks Star Fox to win it. Technically, this is the only level with 3 bosses. You fight 2 robot Shoguns and 1 piloted Shogun. I believe this is level, you're flying through battleships and stuff. And this is a very, very fun level. I love this level. It's very fun. You're flying through these giant battleships. They've got, stuff like turrets and stuff on all the battleships. And it's just a lot of fun to play that. Matter of fact, I'm going to look it up because I've just got to make sure that that's the one I was thinking of before I continue and sound like an idiot. But I believe it is the one that I was thinking of here. And play a little bit of the level music in the background so if you hear it. Let's see. Oh, yes. That is the one I was thinking of. So, yes, this is a very fun level. And I don't know if you guys can hear this. I believe you can. But they're flying through it right now, and there's all these battleships and all these turrets. It kind of makes you feel like you're in Star Wars for a little bit, It's just a lot of fun to play this level. It's a blast. Above. Yeah, look at that. There's Falco. So, that level is definitely one of my favorites on the game. It's a lot of fun. Sector Y. And so, let's go on here. Now, level 3 is Ficina, former defense post, and this is where you first see Star Wolf. Star Wolf, of course, this is an R-Wing type of level. And Ficina is reached only from the Meteo asteroid field. Outcome of the mission will determine the next route. If Star Wolf team are all shot down before time runs out and the bomb is defused, the choice of route will change from Solar to Sector X. But if Star Wolf wins the dogfights, the choice of routes will be canceled and the path will go straight to Sector X only. If the flight path to Venom includes Sector Z to Bull C, Star Wolf will reappear and Fox will groan at facing them a second time. And so the Ficina, which one is this? I believe I played this one. Is this the one that rips off Independence Day, I believe? Let's see here. Let's see if it is. I'm kind of looking it up here as we go along. Normally, I have these whole huge outlines written up, and I didn't have time to write up a huge outline for this one, and I really wish I would have. But it's fine. It's fine. We're doing this on the fly. Ficina. I'm just going to make sure here. This is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think it is. I think this is. And so this is... Let's see if we can get the audio here. Okay, no, this ain't the one I was thinking of. This is just kind of like a big open desert world.
Can't let you do that,
so yeah, that's
his orders to take you down.
That's Wolf coming in. They're also polite. You notice that? So yeah, it's got like this big triangle type of building in the middle. It's not really a triangle. It's not a pyramid, but it's got like it looks like a screw head, I guess, sticking out of the ground. And so they are, you're flying around, you're defeating Star Wolf in this level. And it's a fun level. I gotta say, it definitely is a fun level. And let's go ahead and move on here to the next one. Not very good at breaking these all down. Bear with me, folks. I'm sorry. Katina, frontline base reunion. Vehicle is an R-Wing all-range mode. Katina can be approached from Sector Y by choice, but not. Earning 100 hit points will lead directly to Katina at the Meteo asteroid field. Flying through the 7 warp gates and piloting through the warp zone will allow choice of route between Katina and Ficina. Like I said, this game's kind of choose your own adventure. Completing the mission on Katina by destroying Saucer before it ignites its weapon will Allow a choice between Solar and Sector X. But if Saucer destroys the base, then you'll route to Sector X only. Either way, Bill Gray will track the Star Fox team to their destination and return the favor by helping him and his units out. The player succeeds in destroying the mothership's core without shooting or destroying a Corneria ship. Instead of Bill saying, "Take care, Fox," Fox will reply, "You too, Bill." Bill will say, "I'm glad we're on the same team, Fox," and Fox will reply, "You owe me one." And for every Cornerian ship shot down, there'll be one less Cornerian ship flying behind you when you finish the level. Aside from Fox, the only Star Fox team member who may accidentally shoot down a friendly aircraft is Peppy here, who realizes by saying "enemy down," wait, that was one of ours. So Bill on Star Fox 64, I believe he had a funny voice, and so I'm going to see if I can find a clip here of it, because I don't know why, but he always stuck out in my mind. And this level is ripped right out of Independence Day. As a matter of fact, that was another trivia thing that I had earlier. And it was, let's see if I can find it, Medium Path. Oh, yeah, Bill Gray's quotes. Here we go.
All units report. Bulldog unit, don't let anything through. Don't get too excited. Here we go. Enemy mothership approaching. Fox, get out of here now. Fox, that's one of ours.
So yeah, Bill was always kind of a cool guy. And actually, I just found a nice breakdown of like all their quotes. Like here's
Can't let you do that, Star Fox.
So this is Wolf
You're
O'Donnell.
not so tough. You'll be seeing your dad soon, Fox.
Man, that's cruel. Anyways, yeah, so this level's ripped right out of Independence Day. It's a big mothership, and it's going to blow up like a pyramid below you, and you got to take it out. Preferably not Randy Quaid style. And so, yeah, it's a fun level, too, as well. And then we got Aqueous, the ocean, terror of the deep. Aqueous is only reached from Sector Y after getting over 100 hit points. The Blue Marine is used for the first and only time in its history to search and destroy the Bakun and the other hostile sea life forms. And so basically this is a corridor mode, but you're in a submarine basically and shooting down. So that's another thing I like about this game. You weren't limited to just corridor flying. You had all range mode. You had, the tank. You had the submarine, even though it was only on one level. It's just a lot of fun in this, a bunch of different stuff to do. And so the route from planet is fixed, and we'll go straight towards Zone S. Zone S cannot be reached from Katina or Ficina, so traveling to Aqueous is necessary to reach Zone S. So level 4 is Sector X, Combat Zone, Mystery of the Space Base, R-Wing Mode, Corridor Vehicle. Sector X is approachable from Ficina or Katina, and the previous missions had been met with mission accomplished. Then the route can be taken to Solar or Sector X by choice, it says here. And so there are 3 different routes that can lead out of Sector X to either Sector Z by the warp gate. So this is just going through and breaking it down here and how to get through here. But if the routes taken to Sector X do not include Katina, Bill won't know where Star Fox has gone, and so he won't appear at all. There's just a lot of this one literally is just full of stuff that I'm gonna bypass because it's a lot of reading about. I feel like I need a spreadsheet on how to get through this level of the game. So mission accomplished, shoot and go through all 4 warp gates and warp zones, Sector Z. Okay, Solar, out of the frying pan. Solar is a corridor mode R-Wing level. Solar is the 4th mission of the medium route, where it can be approached from Ficina and Katina. If the previous missions had met with only mission complete, the choice of routes on the map will be canceled and go straight to Sector X instead. Should the route to Solar be Katina? And so, actually, you know what? I've realized something. Sector X, I did not look up exactly, because I like I said, it's been a little while since I played this. And let's see what Sector X was, because I've played most of these levels back in my prime here. So Sector X. Okay, yeah, Sector X is just basically another space battle fleet kind of level, it looks like. And so it's just like the previous one before. That would make total sense. And so now let's see what this other one was. This was level out of the frying pan and into this level here, Solar. And I'm going to see what this one was. I believe I played this one too. I think this is the one with the giant lava monster. I always liked this level. It always looked really cool. And it had some of the best music. Yeah. This is the one I was thinking of. Now, Star Fox 64 3D, it looks really good on there. But I really like this one. It is... Oh, wow, that's loud. Okay, here we go.
That area's an oven. Don't go burning that R-Wing. Be reasonable, Fox.
I'll be careful.
Good luck.
So yeah, it kind of starts here, and you see lava kind of jumping around. Looks like you're fighting over the surface of the sun. That's seriously what it looks like. It looks like you're on the surface of the sun. Yep.
Keep an eye on your shield gauge.
That's right. Yeah, your shields are continuously dropping. So you had to keep picking up the shield boosters on this. I remember this. This was a fun level.
9,000 degrees.
This was a great level. You have to dodge all of these, like, they look like snakes, and you can't fly too low in the level. And your shield is continuously dropping, and your R-wing's in constant alarm mode. And then these rocks come up, and you got to shoot these rocks. And do these have shields? Yes. They had the silver rings and stuff in them. That would refill your shields. So yeah, then Bill comes into the rescue on this guy's playthrough. So yeah, I really like that level. That one was a lot of fun. Glad I looked that up here. And so yeah, let's go ahead and keep on going here. So mission accomplished. Take out Vulcan Macbeth. That Vulcan's a villain on that one. Zone S is a toxic waste area. Invasion aftermath. It's an R-wing corridor mode. I don't know if I ever got to Zone S. I think I hope I'm saying that right. Let's take a look at this one here and see what it was. Zone S. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, it's like a let's see here. Yeah, it's basically like an acid planet. And there's just stuff coming at you, and so yeah, that was another good level. Zone S was, and we'll keep moving here. I'm trying to just give you a taste of all the different levels in the game. Hope I'm bringing back some good stuff. I hope everyone's liking the episode so far. It's a little bit different of a normal episode because this is such a massive game. Not massive in that, it's not like something like Mario 64 where you have 120 stars to get, but there's so many options. Like there's so many routes. There's not necessarily like my playthrough. We might end at the same place, or we will, but we will not take the same route. I guarantee you. That's the cool part of it. Then you had the level 5 Titania. That's the arid desert search for Slippy. Titania's approach only from Sector X on the easy path route, meeting the previous mission with the mission accomplished. This one, you're on the Landmaster, and I thought maybe this was not the one I was thinking of here. So let me go ahead and pull that one up here, and that was Titania. And just to give myself a refresher, I used to replay this game all the time just to play through these different levels. Okay, yeah. This one, you're on the Landmaster. And yeah, you're fighting basically like giant bugs and stuff. And yeah, you're just like on the Landmaster. I loved making that Landmaster do the rolls on it. That was so cool, kind of thrusting it onto its side. So basically, yeah, you got fighters and like giant sand crabs and stuff that you're fighting on here. That one was a lot of fun as well. Love the music and stuff of this game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Macbeth, the Venom Army Supply Base, and the Forever Train. This is the one I had the most fun on. Tell you what, if you could... so basically in this one, determine where Star Fox went, but therefore she won't appear at all. That's just Cat Monroe. Assist in taking down the fighters and the track switches, but the route taken to Macbeth did not include Zone S. Cat couldn't determine where Star Fox went, and therefore she won't appear at all. The outcome of this mission is determined by either destroying Macbeth and heading to Boise, or derailing the Forever Train and permitting a choice of route Area 6 in Boise. I used to always derail the train, basically hitting all the switches that I could. That drove that train into it looked like a power plant or a big, it was a big building, and man, that controller would just shake when that train went into there. So the mission complete is take out the entire train by destroying Macbeth, and it's a mechanized machine. If 10 minutes have passed, the train will pass the supply depot. That's what it was. And the Forever Train engineer, having said, "You're too slow, time to end this," will command Macbeth to fly directly into the Landmaster, instantly defeating you. So apparently you have a 10-minute time limit, and so it's not forever maybe. And mission accomplished is shoot all 8 switches and then the switchboard's lever to shift the train tracks and cause the train to crash into the fuel bunker. Area 6. That's how you can get there. So that one was a lot of fun. I really did like it. So basically, yeah, mission complete is when you complete the level. Mission accomplished is when you get the hidden secrets in there to get the harder part. So then you got Sector Z. This is an all-range mode. Sector Z is only approachable from Zonus and or if the warp zone was taken from Sector X. What was Sector Z here? I know it's probably just a space flight. I think it is. I just want to make sure here. And so it was Sector Z. We'll make sure here. I'm looking it up here in the background. And let's take a look here. Play a little bit of audio from this level. And yes, just as I thought. It's basically just an open fight space. So it's just a big flight level. It's okay. Sector Z is considered by most expert players to be one of the most difficult levels in Star Fox 64 to obtain a medal on due to several factors. Ironically, one of these factors is that the Wingman AI is more capable of taking on enemy fighters and the Copperhead missiles than normal. Further exacerbated should they reach this level from Zone S, since Cat Monroe will be there too. So if you have Cat in this level, it's really hard to get a medal on. And their kills do not count towards the player totals. Furthermore, they will have to try to balance raising their points total by shooting down enemies with dealing with the missiles, which give out 10 points each, provided the player destroys them. If they wish not for the level to end early and they wish to go to Area 6, the required points total is to obtain a medal is 100. So I didn't know that about this. That's kind of interesting. I didn't know that it was that big of a trouble to get there. And so, yeah, didn't know that. Note, during the mission, your R-Wing's shield and wings can be completely repaired by flying into the black entrance of the Great Fox. Note, each missile you destroy gives hit plus 10. Missiles destroyed by teammates, however, will not yield any hits. There are also 10 asteroids scattered on the stage. Destroying one yields 2 hit points. I didn't know that either. Level 6 is Boys. It's defense outpost, the last hurrah. The vehicle is the R-Wing. It's all range mode. Boys serves as the 2 possible penultimate levels. It can be approached from Sector Z, Macbeth, and Titania. With the exception of Titania, if the previous missions have met with a mission complete, the choice of routes will be canceled and automatically lead to Boys. You have to destroy the Boys. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Boys was. This is a very unique leveled Bowls. I'm sorry. Wow, Boys. What am I thinking here? I thought that was an I. It's Bowls. B-O-L-S-E. So let's go ahead and take a look at this level. And okay. Bowls is, yeah. It's, I remember this now. It's the, I used to think it was a space station, because I believe that's what it is. Yeah, so yeah, that's the space station level near the end of the game. So that one's kind of fun to fight on. Kind of reminds me of the Star Wars, the original Star Wars, where Luke is flying over the top of the Death Star. It kind of gave me that impression. So Area 6, defense station through the middle. The vehicles are ring in its corridor mode. Area 6 is approachable from Sector Z or Macbeth if the previous missions have been met with an accomplishment. If not, the route will proceed to Bowls. Instead, the route going through Area 6 is arguably tougher than the one going past Bowls defense station, but will take you directly to the entrance of Andross's lair, avoiding a lot of the planet-side defenses. This is the last outpost before you reach Venom. The Star Fox team flies straight through the middle of Andross's defense fleet. After making it through the 3 lines of defense, Fox destroys the Planet Crusher space station named Gorgon before flying on to Venom. And so, yeah, that is another space station. And I just want to take a look here. And what was that called? That was called Defense Station. So let's see if we can pull this up here. And I think I've played this one too, Defense Station. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe this is it.
Came in here. No problems. Do you copy? Emergency maneuvers!
Oh, yes. I remember this one too. Yep. Big old, it looked like tops. There's a bunch of tops flying in there, and Andross is giving you some crap in the background, just like he would. So yeah, that was a fun level as well. Now the final level, Venom. The planet can be reached from 2 routes. The easy mode approaches Venom following the destruction of the Bulls defense satellite. The layer will still have to travel some distance on Venom to Andross's base. The harder route in both difficult and name, approaches Venom from a different angle. After a massive battle with the planet's primary defense fleet at Area 6, the player will arrive directly at Andross's base. The routes are named as Venom and Venom 2 in Star Fox 64 3DS's Score Attack mode. Battle with Andross, Venom, Andross's homeworld. It's R-Wing corridor mode. The Star Fox team fights their way across the surface of Venom through wave upon wave of enemy fighters. They fly through a temple, defeating a rock golem boss before reaching Andross's base. Fox declares that he'll go it alone and plunges into the depth of the base, deep below the crust of Venom. At the end of the long tunnel, Fox fights Andross. Fox defeats him before fleeing as the base as it begins to explode. However, it is revealed at the end of the credits that Fox only defeated an android form of Andross. And Andross's image is seen at the end laughing maniacally, which means he still lives. So yeah, I remember that ending, definitely. And then the final boss battle with Andross. Star Fox team flies down directly over Andross's base before they can enter. However, a disfigured Star Wolf team arrives in their new ships, the Wolfen 2s. The Star Fox team is forced to fight them before they can proceed. Since the Wolfen 2s are heavily upgraded, bombs and lock-on lasers have no effect. After Star Wolf has been shot down, Fox declares that he'll go it alone and plunges deep into the depths of the base below the crust of Venom. Fox flies through a maze of tunnels and corridors before reaching Andross and fighting him. After destroying his disembodied hands and head, Andross's true form is revealed to be a gigantic brain with biomechanical eyes. Moving into all-range mode, Fox destroys the eyes and then the brain. As he dies, Andross declares, "If I go down, I'm taking you with me," and then self-destructs. Fox screams at his impending doom. But out of nowhere, the supposedly dead James McCloud appears to lead Star Fox out of the tunnels. And let's see here. I'm sorry, I got lost here. I got a phone call and had to cut this. If Fox takes a wrong turn anytime, he runs into a fireball coming the other way and is killed. And let's see, I'm trying to find it here. As they leave the base, James praises Fox's efforts before disappearing, leaving Fox to wonder if it really was his father or not. That's why I said he had daddy issues. Adding to the mystery, if one pays close attention to the whole screen before the credits, one can see a light source moving against the background of stars, like the lights that would be mounted on a spacecraft. After the credits, the end is displayed, indicating that this is the canonical end of the game after the android Andross was destroyed. And so that is basically that. I mean, you have training mode in here, which is flying through rings, kind of like the original game. And, of course, you have your multiplayer mode, which is fighting each other. So that is the levels of Star Fox 64. They're a lot of fun. It's a great game. So now we're going to talk about some of the fine people that made this game. So I already had some trivia stuff here that which basically SDP touched on the gibberish part for the Lylat voice and the giant black UFO I talked about earlier. So now let's go ahead and talk about some of the great people that made this game. Obviously produced by Shigeru Miyamoto. He's a legend in the gaming world, especially for Nintendo. Mario Brothers, Zelda, Star Fox. The guy created our childhoods. You know, that's all I can say. He created our childhoods as far as video games go. He was this generation's Howard Scott Warshaw or the guy that created Atari. I'm drawing a blank here right now. Ask me later, and I'm guarantee I can tell you. But he's this generation version of those guys. He's the Steve Jobs when it comes to Nintendo to video games in general. To me, Miyamoto is the guy that basically said games have to be fun. That's the first premise. All the games that he makes are fun. Now, I'm not such a big Zelda fan. I can never get into it. I know that's heresy, but I got to tell you, he basically makes fun games. That's exactly what he did. So the art direction was the Takaya Imarua. And Takaya, I hope I'm saying your guys' names correctly. I'm not the best at pronouncing these. Takaya worked on F-Zero GX, Star Fox Adventure, Star Fox Guard, Star Fox Zero, Star Fox 64 3D, Steel Diver, so a lot of Star Fox and Steel Diver, a lot of Nintendo titles. Now, part of the neat parts of this game is the music. This game has some awesome kick-butt music on the N64. And so let's talk about some of the people that did some of that kick-butt music. Koji Kondo, I believe, is one of the people responsible for the music. Also did, also known as Nick Kondo. So I'm just going to call him Nick. Did music for, music for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, Bowser's sound supervisor on that. Did the music for Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Maker. He did the music. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Nick did the music for that. The other person was Hajime Wakai. And or H. Wakai did sound supervisor for Hey Pikmin, did the music for Pikmin 3, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, New Super Mario Brothers, Nintendogs, Pikmin 2, Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, Pikmin. So a lot of the same sound working there. Graphics designer, this game does have really good graphics, and one of the neat parts about the game is that you don't need the expansion pack, and it does have really nice graphics. So Yoshiki Haru Hana did the graphics for that. Served as design support for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes was design advisor. Mario Kart 8 was design support. Kind of figure out what else they did art on. ARMS, a game called ARMS. Majora's Mask 3D and Ocarina of Time 3D was character design on that. I have played Ocarina of Time 3D a little bit. I used to own that. So let's see here. Satoru Takizawa was another graphic designer. Did a lot of art and graphics on Breath of the Wild, Majora's Mask 3D, Ocarina of Time. So a lot of these people still work for Nintendo. Story writer was Mitsuhiro Takayano. And let's see what else they wrote. Star Fox Zero, Animal Crossing, Happy Home Designer, Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask 3D, Star Fox 64 3D, Tank Troopers, Steel Diver, Sub Wars, which actually is a fun game on the 3DS. I kind of like it. It's a lot of fun. If that's the one I'm thinking of, it's the first person Steel Diver game. Character voices, Mike West. Mike West did voices for Skeleton Warriors. Actually, he was a programmer on Skeleton Warriors back in the 90s. Wow, I didn't know that. So yeah, it's Star Fox Guard, Star Fox Zero, Super Smash Brothers, Star Fox 64 3D. Mike West did the audio for that. Rick May was another character voice. Thinking Things, Collection 1, Toonie the Looney, 2012, Orange Box, Team Fortress 2 was a voice on there. Star Fox 64 character voices. It doesn't really say what voices they did. Lisa Brown, Star Fox Guard, Star Fox Zero voices as well. David Frederick White. So Dave White also did voices on Saw, Halo 3, Bully, Fate, The Matrix Online, Total Annihilation Kingdoms. Oh, man. Total Annihilation, one of my favorites. Star Fox 64 was their first voice gig, it looks like. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, and so executive producer of this game is Hiroshi Yamauchi, and Hiroshi did Wave Race 64, Mario Clash, Tetris 2, Wrecking Crew was the producer of all those games, as well as a ton of Super Nintendo games and a bunch of other games stretching on. Star Fox Adventures, Dr. Mario 64, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Pokemon Zany cards. I mean, just a ton of different credits as producer. Well, I'd say that Hiroshi produced a lot of great games on here. Just gotta say, Star Fox 64 is a great game. So let's talk about the purchase of this game. I looked it up today. First, we're gonna talk about emulation. No bugs reported by Project 64, so that's good. You can emulate the game if you want. Just remember, you're not gonna get the complete experience unless you get it with Rumble. Purchase it on eBay for $15 to $30. I had to look it up because I already own my cart. This was one of the games that I definitely set out to purchase right away for my collection years ago. I've had it with me for over 10 years now. I don't know if it's my childhood copy. No, it's not, because I rented this game when I was a kid, and I purchased it later from a game exchange or something. eBay, you can get it for $15 to $30. Amazon, I found one for $14.50 plus $3.99 shipping. The Rumble Pack. Now, this is a real, not an aftermarket I'm sorry, not an aftermarket like Mad Cats. This is a real Rumble pack if you want the full experience. You can get a Rumble pack on Amazon for $11.94 with $3.99 shipping, or one for $15.70 with free shipping. On eBay, they're going for about $12 to $15. I recommend picking this up and picking up the Rumble pack if you want the experience. So my final thoughts on the game: it's a great game, one of the best on the system. It's a must-own. It's a 10 out of 10. Music. As STP mentioned earlier, you have the voices in the game. That's rare on a on an N64 cart. The Rumble Pack actually adds to the gameplay. And as I said before, I normally don't go out for that kind of stuff. But for this game, there's something about this game and the Rumble Pack. It's more than just a gimmick in here. You really need it for the full experience. If you haven't played this game in a while, I highly recommend that you go out and you pick it up and just have a blast with it. Show it to your kids. Just have fun playing it. Multiplayer mode, we never did play any of the multiplayer mode. That's why I didn't mention it too much in here, because I just never really played it much. I mean, yeah, you can fly around, shoot at each other. That's okay. But the story on this game and the gameplay is so spot on. It's just one of those games you just want to keep playing and unlock all those extra levels. Highly recommend it. All right, everybody, thanks for listening to this. This is a longer episode than normal, and that's fine. The website is n64podcast.com. You can get us on Facebook, facebook.com/n64podcast. Tweet the podcast at the N64podcast, and of course, you can email show@n64podcast.com. We're on Google Play Music, Stitcher, Player FM, and iTunes. Go there and give us a good review if you don't mind. That really helps us out tremendously. You can catch the YouTube version of the show at youtube.com/AndyVGR. I also post from time to time my pickups on social media, and I post when the episodes go live as well. My personal Twitter handle is @AndyVGR. I post just about anything random on there. I want to thank my wife for giving me the time to put all this together and for encouraging me to pursue this once again, and all of you for listening in. Thanks for the audio submission, STP. Really great. Anybody, send audio submissions in anytime you want to. It's been a blast doing this. The show's theme song is Technoax's Edge of Tomorrow. And last but not least, good gaming, everybody.